Hello, everyone. Welcome back to whatever the heck it is I am doing. Day 13 of that as well. This should probably just be called the improvised challenge because I just don't. So I am going to be making chicken vegetable soup. Really at a complete loss because I know, well, for one, I don't have celery. Carrots are usually used. If anything, I'm going to use a very small amount of carrots, and I mean very small. So I just kind of don't really know what I'm doing here, aside from that I have the ingredients I want to use in the soup. So chicken, peas, lima beans, which these are actually much higher in carbs than I was thinking, so those won't be used a whole bunch. Green beans and cabbage. So I don't know. Basically, I'm going to get started, and we're going to just kind of see how and where this all ends up. Go figure. Welcome to another video of I have no idea what I'm doing. So let's have fun while we're doing it, right? I'm going to start by turning on this burner with this small pan, adding some butter, so my other concern with all of this is obviously, how the soup is going to be thickened, because usually you use flour or cornstarch to do that. I'm not using either of those. So I've just added about a tablespoon of butter to that pan there. And I'm going to add the onions to it. I really want my chicken to be kind of like chunked up in squares. And so I have this broth left over. I'm going to put that into this pan I have, or pot rather. And that one I am going to cook the soup in when we get there. So what I'm going to do with that, stick it back here on the burner and on a medium heat. So we've got that broth from the chicken. And this is only half of a chicken breast I am using. And I'm going to put some of it in that back pan, in the back pot. I keep calling them the same thing. And then I'm going to take what's left and put it in with the onion. And I'm also going to get some cabbage ready. And I'm going to just throw some of this cabbage in with the chicken and onions that I have here. And the rest of this cabbage I'm throwing in the back pot. So again, not really sure what I'm doing. I know this back pot here, I'm going to add more water to it. So just 2 cups of water back there. I don't have chicken broth that I'll be using aside from that homemade chicken broth, which was just left over from when I cooked the chicken the other day. I'm gonna salt and pepper this pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little more butter. About another tablespoon's worth. Just a little bit more salt. Now again, I am seasoning this so heavily right now because I'm going to mix it in with that larger pot in the back. I'm going to go ahead and get some green beans thrown into that pot in the back. And these are frozen green beans. So I'm doing just about a half a cup. This is a quarter cup, so 2 of those. From what I read online, it was best to add the peas last. And if we're going to look at the carbs in the peas, there are 12. I mistakenly got sweet peas. That wasn't my intention. And I don't even know if they have regular peas. I just don't even buy peas like that. So this is where it gets interesting, right? Because usually when you're eating a low-carb diet, you steer clear of certain vegetables, like carrots and corn. So I have this mix that I wasn't going to use because it has those carrots and corn in it. But interestingly, the carbs on it is 11. I cut off the serving size, so I don't know for how much. But on the peas, we're looking at 12. 12 carbs. for 2/3. Now keep in mind the fiber is 4, so really we're looking at 8 carbs. Let's check the fiber. 11 tonight. So really, it's going to be the same. And I think I'd rather have a mix of the vegetables. So I'm going to add in a little bit, just a 1/4 cup of the mixed veggies back there. All right, so while I'm waiting for all of this to do whatever it's doing, I wanted to share with you all how this morning I tested for ketosis and I was pretty low on the spectrum, probably, the smallest amount aside from trace that I've tested in since I've been in ketosis. And I find that interesting because I did have beef jerky last night and a ton of mixed nuts. So I think that those things played into where I tested. Now, what I find even more interesting, though, is that I tested again after my 5-mile walk, as I was still fasting, as I am still fasting. And my ketones, I was testing higher for them after the 5-mile walk. So I just want to point out, like I say in the video, or the clip rather, is that it's not just about how we're eating, but our body's moving as well. So it is something that goes hand in hand. Although I know with low carb, you don't have to have the exercise, but I just wanted to show that exercise is beneficial when doing a low carb diet in maintaining ketosis. So let's check those clips out. 8:26 on day 13. And a drastic change here. So I'm definitely at least still in trace. All right, so it is 1:06 p.m. on day 13. And this is my after walk as far as testing for ketosis. So earlier, I was definitely in the trace. I'm currently now, I would say, probably more moderate than small. But my point with all of this is that it's not just about what we eat, it's also about exercise. So keep in mind, I've not eaten today yet. I am still fasting, but just doing a walk changed my ketones, my level of ketosis. All right, so I am going to add what little bit of water I have left to this here. I'm just gonna let that start to boil. So we've got this mixture back here, which was the chicken broth, chicken breast, cabbage, very small amount of those mixed vegetables, and green beans. And then we've got our cabbage. I'm going to have different textures of cabbage in this soup, and that's funny, but I'm okay with it. Onion and our chicken here. And I'm going to mix all of them together here in just a minute. Still in debate on the peas and the lima beans. I mean, we're looking at 21 minus your fiber. So you're looking at 16 carbs for 2/3 of a cup. I think I'm going to hold off on the lima beans. So as we're waiting for that to cook a little bit more before I combine it, I also wanted to just touch base on some of the other things going on with this challenge that I had mentioned earlier on. So one of them was that I was going to do my best to not eat after 7 p.m. And that's one of those things where it really fluctuates. But for the most part, I don't normally eat after 7 p.m. the most part. As far as weed, alcohol, and cigarettes, I've been incorporating those into my diet more so on a daily basis this past week. Last night, though, so I had 3 days of drinking, I think it was, and then a day, which would have been last night, where it was just weed and cigs. Tonight will probably be, drinking and smoking again. So yeah, just kind of what's up with that. Still walking my 5 miles every day, still eating low carb, and still fasting. So with the fasting, let's take a look. I am currently at almost 19 hours. All right, so this looks pretty good. What I'm now going to do is just mix it in the pot of stuff I had going on. And adding some more pepper. Salt. And I think I'm going to turn the heat down on this to right about a low. Put a lid on it and just kind of check in 15 minutes. And at this point, I'm not going to do the peas. I'm not going to add them. One thing that I really wanted to add and forgot was the garlic. So I'm going to add that much garlic now. Eight minutes still on the timer that I set for 15. And honestly, I mean, for me, the soup is done. So I'm just going to eat it. As you can see, it is still rather watery. It's not very thick. I'm okay with that. It is what it is. But I'm excited and hungry and going to eat now. As far as meals for the rest of the week, I have taken out some pork spare ribs with a bone in them that I plan on cooking with cabbage within the next 2 days, so stay tuned for that. And then as far as today, as far as like what else I'll be eating besides this soup, I'm thinking beef jerky, and I ate quite a bit yesterday, and probably some more of these mixed nuts. If I had actual olives instead of these sliced ones, but these might become an option too, as this entire container only has about 4 carbs in it. So just kind of one of those other things that we may not realize. Olives are a low carb snack, so just kind of something else to keep in mind. So I might snack on that too. Just wanted to let you guys know what the plan was for the rest of my day, along with some smoking and drinking. And I'm going to go enjoy my day now, the rest of it anyway. And I hope you all do the same. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button for me. And as always, thank you so much for your time.